Maybe your father didn't just leave. Maybe his addictions to alcohol, drugs always came before you. Maybe you watched him love his self-destruction more than he loved his own child. Maybe he chose someone else's children to show up for. Maybe he lived 10 minutes away, but never came to see you. Maybe he stayed in your home, but emotionally, he was never really there. Maybe you spent your childhood waiting for a man who kept promising next time. Maybe you kept hoping he'd change. And maybe you learned to stop hoping because hope hurt too much. If you grew up with a father who abandoned you, physically, emotionally, or both, then your life has been shaped by a wound you never asked for. A wound that still spills into your relationships, into the way you love, into the way you see yourself. Maybe you still feel unchosen even now. Maybe a part of you still wonders why you weren't enough to make him stay. Maybe you fear abandonment even with people who promise they won't leave. Maybe you've spent your entire life trying to fill the space he left behind. And if any of this feels uncomfortably familiar, it's because you're about to understand yourself in a way you never have before. Because by the end of this video, you're going to learn exactly how an absent father rewires a child's emotional world. Why you love the way you do. Why you fear the things you fear. Why you attract emotionally distant partners. Why you shut down during conflict. Why you still carry guilt, shame, or the deep belief that you are somehow unworthy of being chosen. You're going to discover the psychology behind the emptiness. The patterns that formed in childhood but still rule your adulthood. And most importantly, you're going to learn how to break the emotional inheritance your father left you with. Because if you don't understand what shaped you, you will keep reliving it. You will keep choosing people who mirror his absence. You will keep loving from a place of fear instead of freedom. And you will keep abandoning yourself in the same way he abandoned you. But that ends today. Main video begins. No music, black screen, slow pacing. Let's start with something simple. A child learns about love through the way their parents treat them. Not through what they say, but through what they do. So when a father disappears or sits in silence, distant, withdrawn, that child learns a terrifying lesson. They learn that love is unreliable, that affection is temporary, that closeness can vanish without warning. And the child does what all children do. They assume it's their fault. They assume they weren't good enough, weren't lovable enough, weren't worth staying for. This is the first wound an absent father leaves behind. The belief that you must earn love, that you must work for affection, that your value depends on someone else's approval. And this belief follows you into adulthood, quietly shaping every relationship you enter. Symptoms, the relatable patterns almost everyone experiences. Let's talk about the signs. Signs you were raised with a father who didn't show up. Because you might not realize how many of these you still carry. You fear abandonment, even in stable relationships. You feel unlovable at your core. You choose partners who are emotionally unavailable, just like he was. You confuse anxiety with attraction. You chase after people who pull away. You overgive, hoping someone will finally choose you. You sabotage relationships when they feel too safe. You feel responsible for keeping people interested. You expect rejection even when nothing is wrong. You feel uncomfortable with affection or consistency. You're terrified of being vulnerable. You struggle to trust long-term stability. And deep down, you never really believe anyone will stay. If any of that sounds like you, that's not weakness. That's conditioning. And unless you understand it, it will keep running your life. Warning, why you must keep watching. Because if you stop here, you will continue the same emotional patterns your father handed down. You will keep choosing relationships that wound you. You will keep confusing longing for love. You will keep feeling responsible for other people's behavior. And you will keep repeating the pain that was once forced onto you. But if you stay, you'll finally understand why your childhood still echoes inside you, and how to silence those echoes for good. Explanation, emotional states, clear language. So let's go deeper. When your father was absent, by leaving, by neglect, by addiction, by emotional withdrawal, you learned to live in survival mode. You learned to scan for danger, to predict disappointment, to minimize your needs, to stay small, to avoid upsetting anyone, to expect inconsistency. Your nervous system became wired for abandonment, like your body is always preparing for someone to leave. This is why even now, years later, stability feels foreign. Consistency feels suspicious. Affection feels overwhelming. And love feels like something that must be earned. None of this means you're broken. It means you adapted to survive. And survival has a price. Thoughtful questions, key style introspection. So let me ask you something. Not to shame you, but to understand you. When did you first learn that love was something you had to chase? When did you start believing that your presence wasn't enough to keep someone? Whose approval are you still trying to earn? Which relationships do you choose because they feel familiar, not healthy? What parts of yourself did you silence because you feared being abandoned again? Who are you without the fear of being left? Sit with those questions, because your answers will reveal the places you're still carrying him. What happens if you don't address this? If you don't heal this wound, your relationships will keep replaying your childhood. You will keep choosing partners who resemble your father's absence. You will keep mistaking inconsistency for connection. You will keep expecting the worst. You will keep loving from fear. You will keep abandoning yourself to avoid being abandoned. And eventually, it will cost you your peace, your identity, your joy. But it doesn't have to. Because understanding your wounds is the first step to finally breaking free from them. Healing, clear, compassionate, practical. So let's talk about healing. Not in a vague way, but in a real practical way. Healing begins the moment you stop blaming yourself for a man who couldn't show up. His absence was never your failure. It was a reflection of his wounds, his limitations, his choices, not your worth. You are allowed to stop carrying the blame he dropped on you. You are allowed to stop trying to earn love. You are allowed to want stability. You are allowed to trust the people who actually stay. You are allowed to choose relationships where you are valued, not tolerated. And you are allowed to take up space without fearing it will push someone away. Healing looks like this: naming your emotions instead of suppressing them, setting boundaries without apologizing, choosing partners who show up consistently, understanding your triggers instead of shaming yourself for them, learning to receive love instead of earning it, and slowly teaching your nervous system that not everyone is your father. Deeper shadow work, Jungian style. Carl Jung once said, Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your father's absence became the blueprint for your early experiences of love. But it does not have to shape your future. Your unconscious belief that you are unworthy or forgettable or inherently easy to leave is not truth. It is an emotional echo, one that can finally become quiet once you begin listening to it instead of running from it. Ask yourself, what am I still trying to prove that I didn't get to prove as a child? What am I afraid will happen if I stop chasing people? Who am I trying to save by saving everyone except myself? These are not questions meant to hurt you. They are invitations. Invitations to step out of the shadow your father left behind. Closing. Encouragement, key style emotional release. So hear me when I say this. You are not unlovable. You are not forgettable. You are not too much or not enough. You were a child who deserved a father who chose you, a child who deserved stability, a child who deserved presence, and you are still deserving now. Your father's absence was his failure, not your identity, and you have carried his absence long enough. It's time to put it down, because you deserve a life where love stays, where affection doesn't disappear, where you don't have to chase anyone, where you don't live in fear of being forgotten. You deserve to feel chosen. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve to feel loved without conditions. And you are worth every bit of the healing it takes to get there. I believe in you, even on the days you don't, especially on the days you don't, because you're not broken. You are becoming, and the version of you who finally heals will be someone who knows with absolute certainty that they were always worth staying for.